I'm Josh.
And I'm Layla.
And this is Jayla in the morning.
All right, so hey, we have a topic today. What is marriage supposed to be hard?
I say yes. I say yes because what kind of reward out there can you get without going through a challenge? And I would replace the word hard with, is it supposed to be a challenge? Because anything worth receiving is going to be a challenge, right? We do it all the time with our careers and just in life in general, right? We're working to get to a better place in life, whether it is to buy a new car, buy a house. We put money in the savings account, whatever. Unless you've been blessed to be given lump sums of money, you're going to face a challenge. Right. Even those people that have been given lump sums of money are faced with some kind of a challenge. They need
how they're going to steward it or whatever. Yeah,
we need that as humans to feel that we've accomplished something, right? It's not going to be worth pursuing if it isn't a challenge, I think.
It's kind of an interesting point. Like with marriage, I think sometimes there's a misnomer out there that it is like magically, mystically going to get better when you get married. Mm-hmm. But I like how you use the career as an example. It's like, when we get done with school, we think we're going to make boatloads of money and we're going to be rich, and don't think about how we have to actually be good caretakers of the position we've been given.
It's a good point. That's another thing that popped into my head, as I was talking, is that a lot of people think that they won the game when they get the spouse.
Right.
Right.
Or it looks pretty on the picture, or like your wedding photos were great, or even the video.
Yeah. Like the challenge to them was just to obtain the spouse, and then it's like, all right, whoa, I won at life, game over, and they're not happy again until they create a new challenge. But I would just encourage you, when you're in that moment, after you've won the game of I've got the spouse that I always wanted, and we got married. We did all the things we wanted to do. But to really see marriage for the long haul, like to win at marriage is to go the distance.
Right. And I actually like how Josh mentioned the car example too. Like we work hard to get something, whatever it is, and then it's like, ooh, is this the car that I wanted? Or is this the spouse that I wanted? Mm-hmm. When the going gets tough, because it's not if, it's yes, it's a difficult experience in life. That's why I think some people want to tap out when the going gets rough instead of kind of leaning into the discomfort to get to the quality parts, the joy, the rewards of marriage.
Yeah. Marriage is so, has so many levels. Like it's not like buying a car or buying a house where you're constantly looking to improve by getting a new car or a new house. You don't need to get a new spouse to create a new challenge in your marriage.
Right.
Because there's constantly new challenges as we change as people.
Right.
For one. And then there's going to be always something new that you can tackle together as a couple.
Right.
So that, you are on the same team and working to win the game of marriage together.
Right. And I think one of the things that was coming to mind for me is Josh was talking about, like the quality deepens in marriage when the commitment is there, when you're both committed to taking care of the marriage. It's organic, right? It's organic in the relationship, the flow back and forth and learning your partner, right? Most of us don't get married until we're full-blown adults, right? And we've come up with our standards and we've come up with our routines in the bathroom. We've come up with these routines that we've gotten fixed in, and then we merge a life with another adult, another human. And if you have kids, it's a whole nother level of marriage. But I think seeing it as delayed gratification, or, I forget that quote, but it's like anything worth having, it takes it takes work. It's worth putting in the work because you're going to get to the gold. You're going to get to the dynamic results when you think about, for me, like taking care of the relationship as something valuable. Like I picture it as something very valuable. My relationship with you is something that is kind of similar to a garden. Like I have to take care of it. We have to collectively take care of it, right? Like if it needs some weeds picked out of it, then we have to do that, and we have to be proactive. Otherwise the weeds are going to try to take over.
Right. You water it by filling each other's love tanks.
Learning your love language and responding in that way, making sure your love tank is cared for.
Healthy intimacy.
Full. Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Yeah.
I think that a lot of people tend to think that their marriage is going to be similar to having a roommate, or possibly when they lived, with family members. I mean,
and it's totally different.
Yeah, there's a whole nother level to being fully committed to each other, to where you're not going out and you're doing your own separate things all the time. You're going out together, right? And when you leave, you've got a responsibility to tell your spouse where you're going, which could be frustrating. And you just have a responsibility to maintain the sanctity of your marriage, even when you guys are apart.
Right. Was there more around what makes it difficult, or, what kind of pulls on the marriage versus how to get back to staying in the harmony that you once had, maybe when you were dating, or that synergy that was happening between you? Yeah,
I think and a big part of that is that we are different people. And I mean,
where did you want to go with that?
You can't avoid that. You can't avoid that we are, male and female.
Yeah.
Plus,
we think different, right?
We have different experiences when we were growing up.
True.
That
right, like his life experience was different. We had some similarities, but
different traumas that that have affected us differently.
Yeah.
So we've got to stay curious and get to know each other to understand each other and where we're coming from in these situations.
Yeah. And we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about episode. Right in our
to
previous.
To know me is not to know me.
Yes.
Yeah.
To stay curious, because we're going to continue to change.
Right.
And we're not going to change at the same pace.
Right.
So there's always going to be something that is going to cause a little bit of friction in our relationship. And we have to kind of roll with those changes and allow the other person to be who they are. Don't try to change them. Just understand that they're not the same as you, and that's okay.
Right.
And that is going to produce challenging moments.
Right.
And you're going to come out a winner when you can accept the challenge and overcome it.
Right.
By staying in harmony. And I think you were going to talk about that, how to create harmony.
Yeah, and I thought it was an interesting example for me, because that Josh sees things differently, or his perspective is different from mine, not just because he's a man and he can see things a lot more topic based, where I see things as very interconnected. Where is I going with that? What were we saying before?
We were talking about how to create harmony, I thought.
Okay. Well, yeah, to just honor his difference. So in creating harmony, I have to stay soft to invite in what he has to say about something, or his perspective, and not think I have it all figured out. On creating harmony, though, it's like one of my favorite topics, because if you think about a musical orchestra and you go to a concert to hear beautiful melodies and harmonies and mixing, and you hear that one instrument that's like, you can feel it. And that happens within relationship. You can feel, at least I can, I think women have a spidey sense with our gift of intuition, but guys can feel it too when things are off just a hair. Yeah. And so being sensitive to pause and say, What would it take to get us back into unity?
Yeah.
For an example, we got invited out to a dinner party and I had a different agenda. I was going somewhere else in my planning. And Josh really had pictured us going over here to this dinner party when I was over here and at a different event with different people. And so we're leading up to this moment where we have to make a decision. And I'm like, my orchestra's, playing different instruments and his like percussion band is going off and some other things. So how do we pause and get everything back in unison? Now, for some couples, that can be different if you guys have been out of sync longer, or maybe one of you is working to stay in harmony and the other one is playing a different drum, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what would we encourage in that situation?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was kind of going in a different spot in that I know when we're in harmony and when we're out of harmony because of the fact that we've been in harmony before.
Yes.
If we had never been in harmony at all, then it would be normal to me for us to have dysfunction in our relationship.
Yeah.
But since we have achieved it,
Yes.
I know what it looks like and I know what it feels like,
Yeah.
and I long for it.
Can you see he lights up when he knows we've experienced it? And I just want to encourage you that it is that simple, where the orchestra pauses for a moment. It's actually a grace note. People, catch their breath when they're playing an instrument or whatever. And it's an opportunity to get back in harmony. Mm-hmm. And so for some of us, that might look like having a difficult conversation. For some of us, that might mean just kind of shutting up and hearing what's on the other person's heart and asking a question. Is there more around that? See what's really behind their frustration. What is behind what's causing things to have a little bit of friction. Mm-hmm. Because when we understand a little bit more of the person and their difference, and not just that they're different, because we all know that's annoying sometimes, but to understand what is causing the rub, then we can work together on how we're going to move forward in agreement, so that I'm not resentful or wishing I didn't say yes when I really meant no, that I'm saying yes and I'm meaning yes to go to the party he wanted to go to because I understood why it was important to him.
Yeah, I think that's important to hear the other person and where they're coming from, because that may change your feelings on the subject. If you can truly hear where your spouse is coming from, then you're like, oh, well, those feelings kind of trump the way I was feeling. Mine was, a lot more surface level, but yours is deeper.
Could we get into sharing real quick about the benefits of being in harmony?
Well, I mean, I think maybe we could do a whole nother episode on that.
Probably good.
But we were answering the question, right? Is marriage supposed to be difficult? And I think we answered that yes, it's supposed to be a challenge.
Because and when it's a challenge, it's to create a fine-tuned, valuable experience here on earth. Some people don't get to the richness, the treasures within marriage when they don't feel like actually doing the difficult work. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why marriage is difficult. It is hard. We do come up against those challenging experiences, just like the pearl of great worth, inside the clamshell, when it goes through pressure and it goes through stress. That's what creates the gems, is being willing to say, there is no plan B for me in this marriage. I'm going to take care of you because I know it's going to add value. It does add value to our kids, our marriage, my life, your work, my work. It improves our overall experience on this earth by knowing that the hard times are a pathway to treasures. They're a pathway to peace.
I would simplify that just by saying even, that the more difficult that things seem to be, the more reward there is when you overcome them.
Yes. Yeah. I think we can just leave it at that. To please keep going. Don't give up on your spouse. Please lean in to the challenges and know that it's a birthplace for richness. It's a birthplace for healing and deepening your relationship so that those roots will go deeper and strengthen you when the storms do come.
Yes. So until next time, like, subscribe, and share on the channel. And if you'd like to also purchase a Freedom Protocol, as we talked on last episode, you can go to, what's the website?
It's gracerevealedllc.com. That's where we sit together for an hour and just focus on, when I get triggered, this negative thing happens, and we come up with a way to break those cycles so that you have more life-giving and rewarding experience in your life when things get tough.
Yes.
So gracerevealedllc.com/book.
Thank you guys for watching, and like, subscribe, share. Until next time, we'll see you.